The thought of someone walking up and trying to kidnap you is pretty scary, isn't it? People don't actually do that, do they? In actual fact, they do. And in some cases, it's been caught on camera. Keep watching for some truly chilling stories of attempted kidnappings, even in broad daylight. Be warned, this content is not for the faint-hearted. Showdown at Dollar General. We've seen what happens in public when parents turn their back, even for a second. No one can be vigilant 24/7, and that, unfortunately, can be when crazy kidnappers strike. Look at this CCTV footage from a Dollar General store in Florida. Customer Craig Bonello seems like he's just casually shopping. Then all hell breaks loose. Bonello grabs hold of a 13-year-old girl right in front of her mother. A battle for the teenager ensues as the kidnapper tries to drag the girl away and her mother struggles to keep hold. The attacker is so determined, it looks as if he might get his way. Thank God. Off-duty Sheriff's Deputy Jonathan Bennon had chosen that moment to do his shopping. He tackled Bonello, and a potential tragedy was averted. It probably comes as no surprise to learn that Craig Bonello was suffering from psychological problems. He was committed 3 months after the dramatic and terrifying clash occurred. Parasail panic. Is your child safe in the water? This 10-year-old boy certainly wasn't. He was preyed upon not by a shark, but another kind of predator, a grown man. Here's the person in question, who reportedly took the boy out of the water at Coeur d'Alene Parasail in Coeur d'Alene City, Idaho. He attempted to lure the poor child by claiming to be his mother's fiancé. Can you believe that? I sure can't. He also tried to get him onto a boat, according to reports. The boy saw straight through the guy and tried to shake him off, but this frightening figure was persistent. Thankfully, help was at hand. The boy went to Coeur d'Alene Parasail's owner, Yamin Rodriguez, who gave him shelter when the boy asked for some assistance. Rodriguez knew instantly that something was wrong when the kid said,
"I don't know that man and he's not my dad."
The man tried telling staff that the boy was simply half asleep and confused about what was going on. Rodriguez, pictured here, stated that he would fetch the boy's mother, who was at the location but unaware of what was happening. This was enough to deter the kidnapper, who was named as John Marshall Randolph. When it was clear the deeply scary game was up, he tried to leave, but Rodriguez was having none of it. Following the man the way he'd followed and terrified the poor boy, there was no way he was going to be allowed to simply walk away to potentially scare someone else. Meanwhile, the child wanted to be taken to his mother. He was so frightened that he ran to her arms. Rodriguez told KREM2 News about what this brazen individual was like up close.
He's just like a main actor in like a horror movie, like that kind of creepy oddness.
The police arrived and arrested him, leaving staff and anyone who heard this story chilled that someone with sinister intentions could have pulled a sick stunt like that with so many people around. Martial arts takedown. What those people needed on that dock in Idaho was a guy with skills, specifically martial arts skills. Luckily, one such individual was on hand when a kidnapper attempted to take a baby from a stroller in the heart of New York City. Yes, really. Check out the moment that martial artist Brian Kemsley brings the disturbed individual to the ground in Madison Square Park. This disarming move is called the rear naked choke. The astonishing moment was captured on a cell phone where a crowd had formed, appalled by the kidnapper's actions. Thankfully, Kemsley came along with his girlfriend. Kemsley then held the man in position for an incredible 15 minutes. Even a trained martial artist like this would find it a struggle. This kind of hold is referred to as the seatbelt grip. Before the hero intervened, an altercation was happening which could have spiraled out of control. By restraining the man, Kemsley was also acting as a barrier between him and the angry crowd. From the things the man was saying, he clearly had mental health issues. He was fortunate things didn't go further with Kemsley, who is a professional fighter. The priority should always be to defuse the situation safely, Kemsley wrote on Instagram, and as non-violently as possible, so we do not escalate the situation. And he seems to have achieved this perfectly. The family got out of harm's way. The cops showed up and the kidnapper was taken off, where he hopefully got the help he clearly needed. Escape from Walmart. My next story takes place during a shopping day, this time at Walmart. In Atlanta, a 7-year-old girl appears to have been left by her mother just for a moment. To young Brittany Baxter's horror, a man named Thomas A. Woods approaches her, and he has kidnapping on his mind. As the action starts to unfold, you see this is one little girl who knows how to defend herself. She kicked and screamed, determined to not let herself be taken by the stranger. Woods may have thought putting his hand over her mouth would have helped him fulfill whatever evil plan he had in mind, but this didn't work, and in the end he had to drop her and get out of there. You can see Brittany run for safety after the traumatic crime. She must be brave though, because she spoke to the media about her ordeal afterwards.
He put his hand over my mouth.
Wow, and then what happened?
And then he just dropped me and went and ran off.
What happened to Thomas A. Wood? He was caught. And the reassuring thing is, police got hold of him in under an hour. What makes this story even creepier is the fact that he was actually out on parole for manslaughter. Meanwhile, Brittany was reportedly off sick from school. How scary it must have been for her to be with her mother, and then something like this happens. We're just grateful she had the guts to fight him off. A woman in trouble. Check out this grainy police dash cam. It looks ordinary enough, perhaps. The cops are following a car as it makes its way through the night. Why are they following it? This is where things get creepy. You see, the driver of this car is one Charles Atkins Lewis, and he has an unwilling passenger. The passenger is a woman who Lewis assaulted outside a building where an office party was taking place. He then put her in his car and drove away, taking her to God knows where and to do God knows what. When Lewis's vehicle comes to halt at a stoplight, he's alongside a car containing teenagers Aaron Arias, age 19, and friend Jamal Harris, age 17. They might not have paid the car much heed had it not been for the female passenger in the back who they found attractive. Yet, they soon realized from the movements she was making that she was in serious trouble. They called the cops, suspecting a kidnapping. This is the voice of Aaron Arias.
Yes, I'm on the highway. I'm witnessing a robbery, not a robbery, a kidnapping.
The young men also received a look from the driver, which we imagine made things look pretty suspicious. They and the police started pursuing Lewis as he made his way to his sinister destination. The teenagers were anxious at first, taking the initiative to follow themselves before the authorities showed up. After what must have been an agonizingly tense period for Arias and Harris, and especially for the woman in the car, the cops joined the pursuit. Lewis was finally pulled over.
Step out. Step out. Put your hands on top of the car. Put your hands behind your back.
How scary was it to hear the woman crying as the officer approached the vehicle? Here is the reassuring yet upsetting moment. She is given her freedom from Lewis's clutches. He reportedly had a gun and a knife in his car. We can rest easy knowing he didn't carry out whatever his plan was, and the anonymous woman who was kidnapped thanked Arias and Harris for saving her life. If they hadn't checked out the car next to them at the stoplight, she might never have been reached in time. Did we scare you good, or are you ready for more? Check out our other videos about unsettling cases of true crime.